A lot of stuff to talk about. A lot.
Yeah. It's plentiful show.
Been a long week.
I've been watching a lot of sports.
Good. Life's good.
Up here. But I want to give a shout out to Dirk and D Wade.
Definitely, they deserve that.
I lived in Miami
they
for
went out
some
in nice
time.
ways.
Yeah.
I like the way they went out.
Yeah. I especially like the, I guess Budweiser put together something for Dwayne Wade. I thought that was very heartfelt.
Yeah, it was a way for us to get a look into his life outside of basketball.
Yeah.
Didn't know he helped so many people. I know that
I
know that they have NBA Cares and they do a lot for kids. But to see him help a lot of,
I was actually pretty aware. He done a lot over the years with his sons, making them aware and conscious of charity.
Of course, he would say that.
Hey, listen, D-Wade is that guy, man.
All right, so let's get to the topics. Magic Johnson, this announcement, surprise. So as shocking as everyone was, I actually have just one question: was he ever presidential material?
I mean, I no, because he didn't have any experience. They felt like his face was enough to allure free agents. Now, they got LeBron, and I think they got a little cocky because they should have went after AD the beginning of the year, like early, let them know they want him, start the back channels, not really do everything through the media. So he really dropped the ball there. And then, I'll be really honest, he just doesn't want the backlash to come down on Jenny Buss. He really loves that family. Dr. Buss was like his father, so he really don't want the backlash to come to her, so he took the punch.
I heard a lot of rumors that he wasn't even there. Like, a lot of times he was traveling.
Hey, I hear there was lack of travel that people didn't like. He didn't go to the Final Four. He wasn't going to European games. When you're the president, you got to get out there and find talent.
I think you hit it right on the head, though, that they thought that his face was enough. Just something, that was going to be like a sideshow, I think he couldn't focus on the job because, like you said, the backlash that comes with it. I think he didn't want to hurt his brand. And the only way I feel like it pays off for the Lakers is if he becomes some type of outlier, some type of person that they're using on the outside who's not going to get in trouble for tampering or any of those things if he's talking to free agents and trying to lure them to come to L.A.
I mean, let's be honest. They figured that whole everyone loves Magic thing would work with NBA players, and it doesn't. They don't even know him. A lot of NBA players probably look at him and say, yeah, old guy, he did this. He's probably old-fashioned.
Right.
I don't want to be in that locker room. And then you have LeBron and his luggage, his heavy luggage. It's a tough way to learn free agents, and maybe Magic being away might actually do some good.
Well, I was going to say, how does this affect the team now?
Well, I think that they got to try to get somebody who's had experience in that position, someone who's ready to deal with the scrutiny that comes along with having that job in LA, in that market, with that team, with a guy like LeBron James being your best player. A lot of things come with that, so you have to be prepared mentally to go through what's going to come along with that.
Yeah,
I think that sometimes players are better as players. Sometimes when they get into the corporate world, it changes them.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I really don't like the narrative. And, Mike he watches a lot of sports shows as well, so he gets programmed to continue to use their ideals. Everybody say, he needs a number two. LeBron needs playmaker, and he needs shooters.
Yeah.
Doesn't need a one guy. One person is not going to give LeBron a chance to win a championship.
Right.
It doesn't even make sense. It's like, so him and just one of the guys is going to fill all the holes defensively, and he's going to hit all the threes when LeBron's getting double and triple team? No. He needs a playmaker that's healthy. Rondo, Lonzo haven't proven they can be healthy. So he needs a playmaker that's going to be around 82 games. And then he needs a few shooters, 2 or 3 guys who can also defend, 3-and-D guys who can defend on the other end, pick up their defense, and hit threes. This narrative about a number 2 is ridiculous. Basketball is not built on star players anymore. A la Golden State, who has 5 of them. It's not about 1, 2 guys.
Yeah.
And I know that formula worked with Kyrie for that little time that they had at the 3-year period, and they squeaked out a little championship with Draymond Green getting kicked out. By the way, it wasn't a real championship. A little asterisk on that, by the way, for the people who don't know. But it's just the narrative's got to change. He doesn't need a number 2.
I mean, you being a coach and a player, how do you see your role better as the player or the coach? Or can you be that person that does it all?
You can be a player coach. You know, Bill Russell was the first player coach in the NBA, so there has been a player coach, and everybody's up for old fashioned until you start talking about things like that.
Right.
You know, everybody, yeah, I love the way things used to be, but there's nothing wrong with it. I feel like on those championship runs that LeBron had, he was a player coach, flat out. They got rid of the coach when he wasn't seeing eye to eye with LeBron because those teams were predicated on LeBron's vision. The coaches allowed him to paint the picture.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that I'm talking from a standpoint where the player has retired and is now trying to work in the front office, though. Not from a player who's still playing and, you know, making those type of moves. But for guys like Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, I think the thing that they have to adjust to is that the players that they're drafting, the players that they're signing as free agents, aren't them. You know, and a lot of times when they bring players in, they're looking for that fire, that hunger that they had for the game, that intelligence that they had in the game, that will to win that they had in the game. And you're not going to get that from the average Joe Smo walking around out here in the streets, you know, or, you know, even your typical star on an NBA roster. Some guys just want it a lot more than others, and they'll go a lot further to get what they want. So these GMs like Magic and Mike, you know, who are great players who have come from greatness and worked so much harder than everybody else, and that was their staple. I think when they sign these guys, they have to take that part into consideration, that he's not you. He's not going to work as hard as you worked. He's not going to take it as serious as you took it. So you have to kind of gauge that into, you know, the equation as well.
I'll give him credit for drafting Kyle Kuzma.
But he kind of made it seem like he wasn't having any fun. Like he wants to go back to being the Magic.
Yeah, Starbucks and Magic Theater guy. But listen, he's a business guy.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. You know, he makes magic. He brings people together. You know, he's one guy that can get 5 billionaires in a room and start a project, and everyone has respect.
Yeah.
And you know, he comes with a lot of regal, just he's like royalty when he walks into a building.
Right.
And like I said, they thought that he would have that approach with NBA players or even NBA execs. As you can see, Dell Demps was like, I'm not giving up my player to Magic. I don't care about Magic. Cost him his job, but also humble Magic a little bit, I think. And I think now he understands that this is a young man's game, and he wants to step back and let him take care of the game.
Well, we got to talk about LeBron since we're talking about Magic, Lakers. So with LeBron James, there's been a lot of trash talk about LeBron and his skills and how he's just not getting there to this place of where he's supposed to be, and it's a disappointment. What do you guys think about his game overall?
Well,
how does that change?
For me, you know, I feel like we were kind of hard on LeBron. You know, they were the 4th seed when everyone was healthy on the roster. And I think we have to take that into equation. He was overachieving with the roster that we thought that they weren't even going to make the playoffs. We were counting them out before this year started. So when the season started and they were all together and they were all healthy, they were the 4th seed in the tough Western Conference. But then the injuries hit and, you know, everything went left from there. And it's like it spiraled all out of control, and there was nothing anybody could do really to corral things and bring it in and get that second wind and make that push towards the playoffs, because they lost LeBron for such a substantial amount of time at an important part of the season. You know, we're coming right out of the All-Star break to lose him like that. It just wasn't, you know, conducive for them to have success this year.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like I think that next year they're going to just have to add a few more pieces and, you know, the things that are good for LeBron, like you said earlier, shooters, playmakers, you know, but guys who don't need the ball necessarily because, you know, he likes to have it a lot.
Well, like you were saying, like it doesn't just take one person. How do you build a team around one person? Because that's
first of all, it's not going to be 1-year deals. When you put 1-year deals, it's unfair because now you're asking a guy to prove something to you to get a longer deal. So now you got a bunch of guys trying to prove something instead of playing in the team concept. You know what I mean? So first of all, you got to go out and get guys that you believe in, and that you're not just renting. You got to get guys 3 or 4 year deals. No, I'm serious. Guys got to feel comfortable.
That's true.
Guys got to go get a house, go get an apartment.
Right.
You know, buy a condo. you know, and feel comfortable and have the family there and really enshrine themselves into the team. The problem with the NBA right now is guys are getting shopped around. That's why guys ask for trades every other week.
Right.
It's like, hey, if you're going to shop me around, then get me out of here
Right.
before you know what I mean, you start shopping me around. Or at least let me control the narrative. Kind of like Antonio
Because
Brown.
now when something gets out, it's wildfire now. You know, we got so many different social media outlets, so many different ways for people to obtain information.
Listen,
that they
AB got
didn't
$30 million
know they had.
using social media.
Exactly.
$30 million.
Exactly. But the players are they're in a more controlling state now, and I feel like that isn't always something that's good for the game. You know what I mean? Because when the players get in control, now you're allowing emotions and other things to come into play. Now that usually you don't want to factor into decisions as far as teams and their identity is concerned. You want to try to make everything strategy based, but relationship based as well, as far as mending. I mean, everybody gelling together and all of that. But you want to try to get guys whose games say that they should be on your team. You know, so it gets hard now.
I mean, you keep bringing up Antonio Brown. I don't know why we got to talk about this man.
I feel a little differently than AB than most people, you know? Like, some people feel like he's doing too much, or he's he's a Benedict Arnold because he's bringing up old things, in posts.
Well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about the social media war between
it's a
Antonio
little
Brown.
battle. We're in a
and
war.
Jimmy.
Yeah, it's a little battle, man. It's like people take social media so seriously. You know, a lot of times it's just trolling.
So it's attention. He's
Yeah,
seeking
they're
attention.
trolling. They're both trolling, to be honest.
what else
Because Juju
could it
could take the high
possibly be?
road and not say anything.
Yeah, what else could it possibly be? These two guys I think they're bored right now because
It's off season.
Yeah,
Nothing's
it's
going
like
on.
that.
Nobody else is beefing in the NFL.
Yeah.
You don't hear anything about the NFL at
my
all.
thing with Antonio is
So
just
they need
that at
some
some
juice.
point you got to
Well,
be.
they should
need
be
some
happy
type
that
of
they're
heat.
keeping them alive.
For me, Antonio at some point's got to grow up though. You know, like it's starting to be a little bit too
Complex.
much. Yeah, like the receivers are already categorized as divas, and
Listen.
you don't want to continue to keep
Let me tell
pushing
you
that.
something. I know a few guys that play professional sports, and I know what they feel. Their social media, they wish that they could say whatever they want on their social media. You heard Kevin Durant talking about he made a burner account, just so that he could talk to his friends openly. These guys want to use social media to have fun. It doesn't have to be so serious because they're gonna kick each other's ass on the court, on the field
Right,
anyway.
right.
So they want to have some fun with words and pictures. Let them have some fun. AB is showing everyone that, hey, I'm a human being. That's
He
what he's
said
been
words
showing.
and pictures.
As soon as he had the fight with Pittsburgh, he went out and he dyed his hair, he dyed his mustache. So you know why? To show the human in them, to show that, listen, I'm just like all of you other crazies that go out here and do stuff and pigment your bodies. And you know what? People say, oh, he's hurting his fan, he's hurting his legacy. He picked up 2 million followers since all that happened. I just saw that report.
You know what's
A
crazy?
Everything's
crazy
happening.
You know what's
attracts
crazy is that
crazy.
we're going to start putting that in our assessment of people now. How
Yeah, but
many
it should be
followers
in your
they gain or
assessment.
from something.
It should be in your assessment because you must think about what social media does if you're an influencer. If you're an influencer, people really chime in. Think about how many people started following you and then stopped following you, and how steady your follows are. Nobody just follows you out of it. You know why they follow?
But I think that.
because
But I
he's
think that.
interesting.
But I think
Right.
that. I think that they often don't keep in mind who's following. You know what I'm saying? At some point in time, you have to
Does
be.
not matter.
You have to be. You have to
Does
be that
does the
role
TV
model.
stations follow?
You have
Worry
to
about
be
who's
that
watching
role
the
model at
shows,
some
or do they
time.
just care about the ratings? Or do they care who's in the seats at home, or do they just care about the ratings? It's
They
all
care
about the
about the
ratings.
ratings.
Yeah, yeah.
It's all about who's watching.
I hear you.
How many people
I hear
are
you,
watching.
but I
That's
hear you.
important.
But that's not all that goes into being an athlete. I'm saying,
Oh,
as an
no.
athlete, you've got to have a certain etiquette about you and a certain level
say,
you hold
we
yourself
say
to.
that, but then when people spit and throw things at you and are disrespectful, a la the fan with Russell Westbrook.
Well,
so
see,
it's not always about the quorum.
I'm not one of those guys that doesn't live on a. These things come up on a case
Listen,
by
let
case
me
basis.
tell
They
you
should all be
something. I
handled
played
differently.
basketball. I played at a high level. And I hated when people told me that I had to act a certain way when I was in the company of other athletes. Like, we're all athletes. Why should we act any differently? Why should I act any differently when I'm
that's the
talking
thing.
to him? When
the
I'm
social
talking
media
to an
world is bigger
ex-teammate?
than just athletes.
But I'm talking to, that's why I said Kevin Durant wanted the burner account. Because I'm talking to Juju. I don't care what everybody else says. I'm talking to Juju.
Well, if that's the case, talk to Juju on the phone then.
He can't do that.
Instead of
he
texting?
can't do that. How's he gonna talk to Juju on the phone? He ain't got no phone number for Juju.
I'm done.
These guys change numbers every 2 weeks.
If you could talk to Juju,
These guys change numbers every 2 weeks.
Give you his phone number.
Listen, let me tell you, man. That
Right.
platform,
My
that
thing
platform
is, my
is
thing
for
is that
people who want
kids
to talk.
are watching these guys, and we're raising another
You just
generation
said
of
kids.
athletes.
No.
Yeah, this guy, he's worrying about 7-year-olds, 8-year-olds. 8-year-olds are not following AB, man.
Why not? They've got Instagram accounts.
No, because he's not doing anything that 8th graders want to see. Check his post right now.
Doing anything that 8th graders want to see. You know how many kids
right, we gotta
tune
move
into
on.
AB's page to look at training videos and things like that.
Training
Trying to
videos.
see how
Moving
he
on,
works
You
moving
out.
looked at training videos at 8 years old?
Now
You're
you
a
do.
nerd, man.
Now you do.
Nah, no, you don't.
Everybody's trying to train now. We didn't have that when I was 8 years
Man, ain't
old.
nobody training, man. Everybody looking for skits, man. People like
Moving on to
laughing.
MLB.
That's the worst topic we can move on to.
MLB.
All right, so you know that Mike Trout is injured right now.
Yeah.
Oh, 430.
426 something million.
Oh, man. Man, that was fast.
I know.
What happened, Mikey? Ducking out now? He don't want to perform?
You're not saying nothing.
This stuff happens.
Hands
I don't have to
down,
explain,
5'2".
Mike Trout. I'm
Anyway.
a Yankees fan.
5'2".
Okay,
He's
so
5'2",
speaking of
man.
Yankees,
Right.
a lot of injuries.
Yes, the Yankees are hurt right now. The Yankees have.
Lewis is out for 6 weeks.
Yeah, and you know, in that situation right there, I didn't really like it because they tried to hide it. You know, they weren't honest with us as fans and letting us know exactly what was wrong with him. And now we see he's going to miss more time than we actually thought initially. So,
What
it's
about
tough.
Dylan, man? I heard he was banged up, too.
Yeah, he's banged up. Velocity's down right
I think
now.
everybody is.
Trying
That's
to
my
just
guy,
get
man. I
it
pray
together,
for him, man.
I think
Dylan, man, if
CeCe
you're watching,
Sabathia will
kid,
be
man, get
playing
yourself
on
together fast,
Saturday.
man. They
Yeah,
need you.
CC will be back soon. We're got some guys back, but I think that
CeCe should've retired.
right now is the
A
best
long time
time to
ago.
go through these injuries, though, because now the Yankees are getting ready, are calling guys up from their farm system, the younger guys, who are getting a chance to make their
listen.
mark.
Listen, with the exception of Dylan Batantis, any Yankee that might come across this, listen, if you can get out of New York, get out of New York now, man. Things are gonna get bad. Okay,
message is
the
that?
guys like him are gonna be optimistic. Things are gonna get bad. Things are gonna get bad. Injuries. The team's not designed the way it's supposed to
Listen,
be to
man,
win.
you know-
I just see things getting bad, man. At a year where Red Sox are having a terrible start, the Yankees can't even get their shit together. It's like what is wrong with this organization? Steinbrenner dies and everything falls apart.
Well, the Yankees are better than the Red Sox right now, currently. So
So why not run away with a lead? Why not come out 10-1 or 10-2? What's their record right now? They don't even have a winning record
one
right
thing
now.
that you can't control is injuries.
Nikki, the
You
Yankees
can't
don't have a
control
winning record right now.
Okay.
This guy is trying to
You can't
talk to me
control
about the
injuries,
Yankees
bro.
I
being
think
better
this
than
is too
Can't
early.
control
I
injuries.
think it's too early to
and
go.
it's 10 games in. It's
You
10
can
games.
control injuries when you started spring training the right way and you train guys the
Right
right way.
way.
Everybody ate the right things. Some organizations are crazy about spring training and how early they start.
And you think the richest-
A
Or
lot of the
season.
spring trainings were in the
Yeah, I
warm
think
sun.
they've been overlooking things like that for years because they thought they were just good enough and they had some magic that they were just gonna win championships.
No,
And now they
no,
realize that wasn't
no.
magic. It was the hard work
No.
of guys like Derek Jeter, Paul O'Neill, Bernie Williams, Tino Martinez, all those guys who kicked it, who worked hard as hell.
Yeah.
And now you got a bunch of prima donnas who make a bunch of money and they don't work hard.
Yeah.
They don't work hard. Baseball players get hurt doing the weird. How do they get hurt? I am not getting
You have
hurt
to think
playing
about-
baseball.
You have to think about the things that are
I would
involved
never
in
get hurt playing baseball.
Baseball is a soft tissue sport. You gotta
Unless the
use
ball hit me
teammates,
in my face.
things like
Right.
that.
It's the only way
That's
I'm out.
different. Yeah.
It's the only way.
That's different.
And I don't see too many people getting hit in the face with the ball. That's the only way you get me out of a game.
You think that you'd have to get hit in the face with the ball?
That's the only thing keeping me out of a game.
You must have never felt a baseball hit you in any other place.
I don't see too many people get hit by baseballs.
You don't see too many people.
How many
hit
in
by
game?
baseballs? You gotta watch. The
How many in game? How many in
guys get
game?
hit by pitches?
How many in game? Point 7?
Listen,
I know it's not one a game.
Don't look for
I
how
know
many.
it's not
Don't
every
look for how
game
many.
somebody
Just
gets
know
hit.
that when it happens, it's going to lead to.
Tell me
injury
right now
9 times
that
out of
every
10.
game somebody gets hit with a pitch.
Oh, every game.
Okay, so then the odds is like 0.7 or 0.6. It's
Okay.
not even 1. So what are we talking about?
We're talking about the fact
How
that
do
when
they
it
get
does
hurt,
happen,
Mike? Tell me how do they
when
get
it
hurt?
does happen,
How do you get hurt in baseball? Tell me right now.
baseball is
Running too
a
fast.
sport.
What to where you gotta slow down
like that though.
You gotta slow down for the base. You can get hurt running too fast. You know, little puny little.
You have to understand.
Man,
you have to understand.
No
as
offense, but
athletes-
those ladies need to give it up, man. Give it up. Man, listen,
That's
if you
crazy.
get hurt running, you should be ashamed of yourself.
That's
If you
crazy.
get hurt running,
Listen.
you should be ashamed of yourself.
Baseball players
These
are not
kids
basketball
today-
I
players.
played
They're
basketball like I played basketball. I should have had a helmet on the way I played basketball, and I never sat out a game in my career. I played like I should have had a helmet on the way I played, and I don't understand these weak men. And I'm sticks. Like I'm a skinny guy. These men, they're huge. They're 240, 50 pounds,
They're old.
and they're grown.
And that's the thing. A lot of these guys have worked out so
and they
long.
tweak
They put
their-
on extra weight. Now it's extra weight on those
they
tendons.
I mean,
tweak
if
their
you really
abdominal-
think about it, so back in the day, it was 144 games that they used to have, right? And then they started upping it, so now it's 162.
Oh, so those couple of
So-
extra games, you feel like, listen, let me tell you, I could play
don't know.
100,000 games of baseball, man.
Baseball is a rigorous sport. You are out there just about every night playing.
And the beautiful sun, I mean, it hurts your
Mike,
eyes, you know.
Are they exhausted when they leave the field?
No.
Okay, so why can you not play every night if you're not exhausted? Well, you just made it seem like that was some type of feat. How
because
can you?
Because my arm may be exhausted
From what?
from throwing. That's a big part of
Oh,
the
pitcher. No, they get there's a rotation.
Yes.
Right.
Let's be honest with
Yes.
our people. We're not gonna lie to them.
Okay.
Pitchers have a rotation, so nobody
Do you know that,
pitches.
Do you know that
until
throwing
at
certain
least
pitches,
a week after they
Do you know
pitch.
that throwing certain pitches puts stress on your arm?
Okay, now we're just talking about pitchers.
But how
I'm
many
talking about
arm
everybody. That's what I'm
injuries?
talking about.
A
Pitchers
lot
are
of
one
these
player.
injuries are not arm.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Dylan Betances has an arm injury.
No, that's what's one
Luis
pitcher.
Severino has an
That's
arm
one pitcher.
injury. Luis Severino has an arm injury, shoulder injury. Yeah, that's an arm injury.
But why are we talking about just pitchers? When
Well-
that's one player. I'm talking about the other guys. Let's go down to other
The ones in the
third
outfield.
baseman. How does he hurt himself?
Because we have to swing a bat in baseball. So if your
Once
back is messed up,
once every 45 minutes.
if your back is messed up, if there's something wrong with your legs, which is what
What
you
happened
use to
to your
generate
back?
power,
What happened in your back though? You felt? Do they fall on their backs?
yes, they do.
When do they fall on their backs?
You don't see baseball players dive for the ball.
On their
They
backs?
slide into
They
bases.
slide, yeah, on their chest.
Okay,
When
so-
do they fall on their backs,
They can
Mike?
fall on their backpedaling to try to make a catch. You can fall on your back in baseball.
and a stupid maneuver. I've never seen one of them on their backs. I've never seen a baseball player on his
You've
back.
never seen two baseball players collide into each other.
I've seen a guy run into a catcher. I don't know what colliding into somebody is in a baseball. Nobody, there's no
Obviously-
contact.
You're obviously not
There's no
watching the
contact.
game because
There's no contact.
guys run into each other in baseball. There's
Guys,
these
a
things
guy
called
might
pop
trip over
balls.
somebody's foot.
There's these things
Somebody
called
trip
fly
over
balls.
somebody's foot. If you're holding your foot on the base,
No, there's these things
Well, I
called
have-
fly
I have
balls.
seen that
When they
with
go
the
in the
police.
air, there's this thing you have to do, and you have to communicate with the guy who's in the area with you. You have to let him know you're going to be the one to go get the ball. If you guys don't communicate, you run smack.
Oh, we're
into
talking about
each
And
other.
then you get
stupidity.
injuries.
That's
we're
not
talking about stupidity.
It's not stupidity. It's not stupidity.
So what's the odds of this happening? How often does this happen?
Happens a lot.
A lot? Once a game?
A little less than that, probably.
Once every 5 games?
Somewhere in there.
So we're at about 0.3, right? Oh, okay, 0.3%
But you have
of
to
the time.
remember now. You have to remember now that there are 162 games.
Weaklings. Can we move on to the
There
real
are
Yes,
30
moving
something
on.
teams.
Moving on. Real talk. Real talk.
Yes.
Yes, there's.
And let's
I'ma
please
I'ma let
let's
you-
let's save baseball. Oh yeah, we can't go last. Yeah, real talk.
I'm gonna let you do that. Real
Baseball
talk
haters,
topic.
man.
Real
Yo,
talk
listen,
topic.
real talk. We're gonna shout out, man. Let's turn the page, man. Get serious. Shout out to
This is
Nipsey
big for me.
Hussle, man.
Yeah.
To the big Loke. I'm not Crip, but I gotta have respect for him. You know what I mean? He paved the way. No, I'm serious. He paved the way for a lot of men, man. And his death is bringing a lot of acknowledgement to a lot of young people,
Yeah.
and that's special to me. That's Pac-like. That's he's a martyr, and I know he probably never pictured himself at that as a martyr because his popularity wasn't as high as people think it is while he
Until
was
his
alive.
death.
Yeah, so
Right.
of course he didn't think if he died today or tomorrow I'd be a martyr, but the way he died is the reason why he'll always be a martyr. Dying in front of his store while he was coming to help a friend.
Just
Coming to bring a
from
friend
prison.
there. He just did 20 years. He bring the guy to get some clothes. And he didn't come with his security because he wanted his friend to feel safe, that nobody was going to know that he was home already.
Right.
He wanted to be fresh and fly when he saw his family. And Nipsey, man, I know you up there watching. man, you showed me what it means to be, you know, not just a father, but a warrior, you know what I mean, a rider, and people should continue to speak your name and uplift you because, man, he gave his life. Like, seriously, he gave his life for the culture.
This one was tough for me because I started listening to Nipsey in about 2011, and first time I heard him, I was a fan right away, you know, so this was tough for me. I watched him grow musically and as a person, and just looking at all the community work that he was doing, all of the ventures he was getting into, the work with Rock Nation, all of the things that he had going on.
Yeah.
I felt like this was just too soon, you know. I felt like he still had so much more to do here.
Yeah.
And he was, you know, saving so many lives by creating opportunities for people when they were coming home from jail. They wouldn't have gotten jobs in other places because of their past. And, you know, he just looked past it and got those people employed. So I don't know why we want to take away the great people all the time, the nice people, the people that are out here improving the community.
And something that we should definitely highlight is the fact that this man was truly self-made.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Truly, I mean, from selling CDs out the back of a car to opening up his own clothing store in a neighborhood mart where he used to sell drugs at, man, where his family couldn't even get credit at, where he used to get chased out of, and he talked about a pizza shop or something that they had to get their food and leave, and you know, he was just a guy that paved the way, and his legacy that he left, I'm sure his family, his business partners, kids from his neighborhood, they're renaming that strip in his name, in his honor, which is great because it'll keep him going forever. And he's
it's a sad situation. Like, I didn't know him, I didn't know his music, but just seeing the love made me want to get to know him, even in death. You know, the things that he has done and the lives that he touched, he'll live on forever.
I tell you, riding around now the last, you know, week since his death, you hear a lot more people playing his music. It's definitely brought more awareness to his music. I think people are giving him a chance now as an artist. Those who didn't listen when he was alive are now taking the chance to listen, and they're seeing that he was a really dope rapper, man. You know, he brought it, you know, and it's sad that he's gone, but you know, I think that we had him for the time that we had him, and you know, he did everything that he was supposed to do in the time that he had, and you just got to move on now from it.
I think the real talk point of this is to honor and cherish and love those that are still here while you can.
No, absolutely.
People never get the flowers while they can still smell them.
Right.
I mean, well, you know, we love you guys. You know what I mean? I love you guys. And everybody take care of each other, man. Be safe out there. We're going to finish up this episode, man. That's definitely the note we like to leave it on from Nipsey, man.
Yeah, R.I.P. to Nipsey, man.
Yeah.